Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite podcast entitled, We Hate Your Internet. All right, gather around once again. It's time. You know what I'm saying? This is We Hate Your Internet. It's a podcast designed to bring awareness on the problematic effects of the internet on our lives, as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. Hey, I'm your host, Wilford Hamilton. We want to jump right in today. We got a couple of things to cover, and so we're not going to waste a whole lot of time. Just want to first always say thank you to all those who have shown support, all the comments that have been expressed, and thoughts and support, monetary support that we've received. We appreciate all that too. We want to continue to keep this thing rolling, and all the things the donations that have come in are being utilized to continue to upgrade the production and the quality of the platform that we deliver unto you. So thank you, right? Today, we want to talk about the elites, the conspiracy, and the cult, right? And what got me thinking about this, I was taking in some information on social media, and I got caught down one of these rabbit holes. You know what I mean? Looking at all this P. Diddy stuff. It's everywhere. You can't escape it. You know what I mean? And I was just thinking, looking at the information. One video came up, and then another video came up, and then another, and here we go. You know what I'm saying? We going down this wormhole slide. You know what I mean? And it got me thinking, just like we had an episode maybe about a month ago or so, episode 44. We talked about chasing trends, keeping up with what's trending, all the the latest information, and how exhausting it can be and how much energy that it takes to try to keep track of all this information, and how that information could be utilized in your own personal life. And so with that in mind, I got caught down this rabbit hole, and we're looking at, P. Diddy and his bodyguard had this information, all these redacted lawsuit files that are being presented, and who's involved with this, and what the next name that's coming out. It reminded me a lot of the Epstein thing, but obviously it's bigger in the pop culture because it's P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Sean Combs. You know what I'm saying? So, everybody's all locked in on this information. I saw a video of this guy. I'm not sure exactly what his role was. I think he was some type of bodyguard or something. And he had some audio recording of, P. Diddy and Meek Mill engaging in what the Bible called knowing each other. Very disturbing, very disturbing a bit of footage. You know what I'm saying? Very visceral. It was unpleasant. But then the guy comes on after, he's like, yeah, man, so it was a party, and I was, everybody else was drunk and everything, but I don't drink, you know what I'm saying? I smoke, but I don't drink. So I ain't had nothing, and I'm walking around, and then I hear behind this closed door, all this grunting and all this stuff going on. I pull out my phone. I'm like, it could be a payday for me. and so I thought to myself, how do I know that's true? You know what I mean? How do I know what he's saying is true? How do I know that the people on this audio recording are the people he says that they are? You know what I mean? Go to another video, and they talk about a judge talking about child trafficking, because all this stuff is underage women being trafficked and manipulated, and all blackmail and all this other kind of crazy stuff going on. You know what I mean? Sexual deviancy and all this, right? But it got me thinking, if people are going down these wormholes, how many people are asking the question about, to verify this information? You know what I mean? Is this true? Is what I'm hearing true? Is what I'm seeing true? Because you got to understand, photos can be shopped. You know what I mean? Audio can be modified. And with the addition to, with the capability of what AI can do, listen, evidence can be crafted, manufactured. You know what I'm saying? And if anybody has any kind of idea of how to use AI, they can craft all kinds of stuff. They can have anybody saying anything in any place. And so you have to really, and that really got me thinking like, man, this is we're entering a dangerous time because like people can create anything and it looks real. And people and human beings have this desire to be in the know, to have information. A lot of times it comes from intrigue, curiosity, and then sometimes it goes a little bit deeper even to insecurity. You know what I mean? A person feels insecure with their own life or the quality of their life or their own meaning or whatever, and they find meaning in hidden wisdom, hidden knowledge, hidden secrets. Like it's always like to know something that other people don't know makes people feel powerful or enlightened or whatever case may be. And I'm not saying like, so I want to take this opportunity and say, listen, I'm not saying that, you know, people haven't been involved with secrets in the past. There haven't been secret societies, and cults do exist and have existed for ages, right? Sexual deviancy has been a thing forever. You know what I mean? Like human trafficking, child trafficking, that's been a thing. Like I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like none of that stuff is real, but you have to always ask yourself the question, like, is what I'm hearing, is what I'm seeing real? That's important. You know what I mean? 3 points I want to make, you know what I mean, for today's episode, right? The first one we already dealing with, separating fact from fiction, separating what is known from what is unknown. You know what I mean? Because that's really important, because what you choose to believe will affect your thought process, the way that you process thoughts, the way that you process feelings or whatever. And then that in turn will affect your actions, the thing that you decide to do, the way that you decide to live your life. I can't stress that enough, because when you start to delve into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, like I said, people love conspiracy theories because it makes me feel like I know something other people don't know. Really, people love to, you know, be nosy. My wife be like, she do a little content sometimes. She like, "You're so nosy," she says to the people, because people love to like be in other people's business. I don't know, but you know, and like the conspiracy, especially people, like I said, that feel inadequate in some way. They don't feel fulfilled in their own lives, right? And that's a lot of people. The conspiracy is like highly addictive to chase and get involved with that stuff. You know what I mean? But you need to ask, like I said, you have to ask the questions and try to verify the information that you're hearing. It's super important. You know what I mean? Because just the idea of like the elites, they have these secret societies and you know, the pyramids and the eyes and all this kind of stuff, and the 3 points and all that Freemasonry and you know, the all this stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff, if you choose to believe it, it affects the way that you interact in your life and with the things around you. It can create a bit of paranoia. You start thinking people watching, people seeing, people who have control, people, and it starts to put you in a really strange lane, you know what I mean, where it starts to affect the quality of your life. You know, like I said, once again, I'm not saying that people aren't meeting, people don't have discussions about stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all kind of backroom craziness going on, secret yacht meetings, and listen, I'm sure that stuff probably is legitimate because I know human beings, but I don't go around validating this information just because I saw it on a video or I heard somebody tell a story. You know what I'm saying? And the most important thing, I don't allow these things to affect my life. You know what I'm saying? We think about the Jeff Bezos, the Elon Musk, the world that Jeffrey Epstein comes from, the P. Diddy's, and all these different people, right? And like Kanye and you know, all these different people, you know, all the big name celebrities, they all are involved in this secret society that they are running the world and implementing plans to try to take over the world, all this kind of stuff, right? It brings me to my second point, that the elites, as you call them, people that have power and have influence over the world, right? And whoever those people might be, you know, it's a list of people that you can name based on the things they've accomplished in the world. Who knows who these people are, what these people actually are doing? And that's my point for the first point. You really don't know who's involved with what. All this stuff is speculation and like, you know, he say, she say, backroom videos and interviews and people on social media talking about, I heard this and I saw that. You know what I'm saying? But the one thing that you need to understand, and I think this is equally as powerful as the first point, is that all these elites are just human beings. They don't, you hear this stuff and you take on this idea that like they're these super brainiac, all powerful, they have these grand master schemes that they're putting together to control and manipulate the world to accomplish their diabolical schemes, right? You know what I'm saying? But like what you have to understand is that these people are just human beings. They don't know everything. They are fallible. They have weaknesses. Like they're not as smart as you may think that they are. And that's really, really important for you to understand. Because you'll develop this fear in your heart that like it's these people that are making all these decisions for us, and they want to do this and they do that, and you start going down the rabbit hole, and before you know it, like it's world domination. They moving to Mars, like it's all kinds of. I mean, and this is endless. Like this pursuit and this like the conspiracy is endless. It doesn't end. It just continues to evolve, like and grow and grow and grow, and you get lost in it. You know what I mean? But you know, and that's one thing I talk to my family about. Like these people are just people. Now, you know, I was looking at, I want to say I was in a rabbit hole, right? And so, you know, the name Marina Abramović comes up. You know what I mean? I was watching a Kanye documentary on Netflix, and I saw the lady. You know, he visited her. You know what I mean? Older lady, kind of Middle Easternish, I guess. Long black hair, look kind of like the mama off of Addams Family. And you know, everybody looking at you like, oh man, she's mystical, like she's a witch, or she is like, you know, she's connected into the, you know, whatever the society. You see what I'm saying? But she's just a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, and behind, I want to take a little moment just to kind of break down this whole thought process, right? Because you look at these people doing, you know, these rich and powerful people, celebrities, people that are super wealthy, that run businesses and run countries and all this kind of stuff. You got to understand the psychology of a person like that to understand why they would link up with a woman like her. So first and foremost, you know, I did a little bit of research. I don't spend a whole lot of time, but like, you know what I'm saying? She's born in Yugoslavia, right? Former country. And like, she grew up with her grandparents at first, then she moved in with her parents. Her mother was very, very strict. You know, she grew up in like you know, Eastern Christian Catholic type background, really, really strict. You know, priest and candles and you know that whole vibe. You know what I'm saying? Mother was super strict. You know what I'm saying? There were beatings involved. You know, had you know real tight control over what her and her sibling, her brother, could do. She was saying until she was 29, she wasn't able to be out. Well. And yeah, until she was 29, she couldn't be out past 10 o'clock. You know what I mean? Because her mom was gonna be on her. Say she ain't the only person that had to be inside before the street lights come on. And so, but when you take a person's profile like that, right? She's a person who feels limited, constricted. And so when you think about it, she's an artist, you know what I mean? And like art, she uses her body as a part of her art. She explores the depths and the reaches of pain and human consciousness, right? You know what I'm saying? Thresholds and limits and all that kind of stuff. So she does, you know, she's famous for doing, you know, art where she interacts with the audience and she let them burn her and cut her and all this kind of, you know, crazy stuff, right? I'm going somewhere with this. So like I said, you look at her psychological profile, hey, listen, she's a person that has felt constricted her whole life, and so this is a way for her to be free. This is a way for her to have control of her own life. She has control over her own pain. She has control over her own life and her own death. Like it's a form of control. So, you know, her expression, you know what I'm saying? Like it's a way that she feels in control when she felt like she didn't have any. And then she believes in a lot of like Estorez, how to pronounce the word, but it's basically like fringe. It's like fringe religious beliefs, myths, urban legends, you know, fairy tales mixed in with like Christian, like formal religions, Christianity and Judaism, and you know, and so she just kind of take all this stuff on the fringes and kind of mesh it all into this like gumbo. You know what I'm saying? So you got to understand when a person that, why she'd be appealing. Let's go there. And I'm going to her. Remember the second point. The elites are just people. Super important, right? When you take a person like that lives that way, that has found this way of living that is absolutely free, right? That's the way that that's the way it appears. She's fearless. Like she is free from the constructs or the constraints of fear and pain and like all that kind of stuff. She is a complete present being, so to speak, right? That's the thought process. Now you take a person that's super wealthy, super rich, right? A person that starts out in that process and they go through the life and they start making millions and then they start making multiple millions and then they have control and they have influence and where they go, they eat at the best places, they know go have the best houses, they go on the best vacations, and then you start getting to the billions range, and at that point you have enough money to where money is no longer like money change. Your perception of money changes. It's no longer something that you need to be able to buy things and you're excited about. It's just a resource, period. You know what I'm saying? I think I talked about this in one of the other episodes, just about how you get to a certain point where money becomes a resource, and then you start to it causes you to dehumanize other human beings because you see what they're willing to do for this. And we talking about dollar bills. Like a dollar bill is a piece of paper. You know what I'm saying? Like it only has value assigned to it. It's fiat. I'm gonna have another episode. I've been working on another episode. I want to talk about money anyway. You know what I mean? And just really understanding the real meaning of what money really is. Yeah, but for people that are super wealthy, they understand. Like it's just a resource. It's a way to get things done. It's a tool. And for people that, regular people, I say regular with quotations, regular people are willing to sell themselves, sell their bodies, sell their dignity, sell their integrity for this tool that really don't mean much of nothing. It makes people that are wealthy, that understand and have money, it makes them dehumanize or see these people like subhuman. Because this is what you're willing to do. You're willing to sell your body for this? You can buy this and you get this in any kind, all these different kind of ways. You willing to let somebody slap you in the face? You willing somebody like urinate on you for this? Like, wow, you know what I'm saying? So you get to this point and these people start to gather together because they understand each other, right? You trying to have a conversation with somebody that doesn't have money is hard because your thought process is totally different. You've been able to explore the depths and the limits of your pleasure, you know what I'm saying? Whether it be in food, whether it be in like whatever it is whatever your the physical limits of your pleasure, sexual, whether you're talking about just buying things and purchasing things. You bought the houses that you wanted. You've lived you've gone and seen all the places that are beautiful on the earth. Like there is no commodity that you can't access or get. You know what I'm saying? Like eventually you start reaching these plateaus where you feel like there's nothing left. And then you meet a person like her to where, after you've experienced and you lived and you felt all these things, you're looking for something. You're looking for something else to make you feel something. Because how much food you gonna get? How much? What the best pieces of steak? How many times you gonna eat it? Right? The best culinary meal in this place or in that place. Like how many times you gonna have it? Food is just fuel. Food is just fuel to the body if we really keep it real. And once you've experienced all these things, you've had all these different foods, you realize that it's just fuel to the body. That's it. You know what I mean? The big beautiful hotel in the mountains is just a place to stay up high. Like that's it. You go to Dubai and you took the top floor of the tallest hotel in the city or whatever, and it's like it's just another room. Eventually, that's what it becomes. Like you take this big pretty yacht and you just on a boat on the water. All this stuff is really really simple, and it's really funny how human beings function like that. That's another episode too. But like I said, you've had all this crazy sex. You know what I'm saying? It's just physical feelings, but like any kind of thing that you could think. That's when they start getting into all this, having sex with kids and multiple women, and it get crazy because you're just trying to feel something. Eventually, at first it started off with just regular stuff, and then you had that, now you want to try something else, and then you just go down this rabbit hole of seeking pleasures, right? So once you've had all of these things, you've done all this stuff, and then sex just becomes a touch at that point. Like it's just and you start to like lose stuff to experience. And then you meet a person like this lady, you know what I'm saying, who lives in a way that is free. And she is in connection with her body in a way that you find intriguing. You know what I'm saying? You've been at the top of your game and like you're running out of things to experience, and she's experiencing things, you're still things that you're afraid of. And this woman is fearless. It's intriguing to you. It's like, wow, like it's breathtaking to you to see a person live like that, to experience life in that way. Because they are still just human beings. That's the reason why, and that's what they're drawn to, her fearlessness. Because that's one thing that plagues all human beings, fear. And she got fear too. You know what I'm saying? It just manifests itself in a different way. She has put in her body, and she's not afraid to have pain in her body. But there are still things that she is afraid of. She's afraid of being shackled. She's afraid of being irrelevant. Those are the kind of things that she is afraid of. If you do some research, you study and you go figuring out how she thinks. You'll see it in her quotes. You'll be able to see it. You know what I mean? This is the things that she's afraid of. But she cloaks it with her performance in the way, and her fearlessness in her performance in the way she's doing. She's willing to die for her art. And that's the most powerful form of living on the earth for any human being, is that you find something that you're willing to die for. You know what I'm saying? Like, once you find that, if you find that, that makes you a very, very powerful individual, because death is only the last thing that everybody fears. And if you're able to say, I no longer fear that, then nobody can really do with you at that point. You see what I'm saying? And so, but at the end of the day, all these people are just people. They're living. More importantly, they're gonna die one day. You know what I mean? Warren Buffett, his partner, Munger, he just died not that long ago. You know what I'm saying? The Bezos, he gonna die. Elon Musk gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like, Beyonce gonna die. Jay-Z gonna die. This lady, Marina, she gonna die. Kanye's gonna die. P. Diddy gonna die. You know what I'm saying? Like, all these people, whether today or tomorrow or 20 years from now, they're all going to die, because they're not immortal. They're not gods. They're not Zeus, and they're not on Olympus looking down on the rest of humanity and making decisions. Like, that is not real. These people, they don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. They can't control. They can control the weather. And man, listen, like, they are not gods. They are people. That's really important, so that you don't get so wrapped up and fearful about and so enamored with what these people are doing. Like, and that, you know, they're just people, and their time on the earth, no matter how much power and influence they have, will end, and then it's going to go to somebody else. And the world's going to keep on moving, and it's going to keep on turning, and it's going to keep on changing. And the facts about the earth will remain the same. You see what I'm saying? And so it brings us to our final point as we start trying to, you know, come toward the end. The final point that I want to make is that, what do these things have to do with you? And that's the question, right? Like, as you get all this information, you do all this studying and in-depth research about, you know, P. Diddy and his sexual exploits and the blackmail and who's involved and who's the next person will come up and say something about him, and Jay-Z's next and all that kind of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that have to do with your life? Because like I said, episode 44, Chasing Trends, you're using all this energy, and that's energy you could be using to improve or to enjoy your own life. You know what I mean? What people do on secret yachts and secret places and secret seas doesn't have anything to do with your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to still have to make some decisions. You know what I'm saying? Like, and you are using so much, and I say this because when I went through that, it was like 2 hours down a rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? 2 hours wasted. You know, I ain't afraid to admit it. 2 hours wasted. Like, and then I came away feeling uncomfortable. Like, man, this is wild. Like, it's all this kind of crazy stuff. You know what I'm saying? You know, it got down into talking about children being abducted, being sold. You know, all these different organizations are a front for all this human trafficking, and the people in the elites love to have children for all their, you know, cult activity and sacrifices and drinking blood. It just got like crazy, right? And I felt uneasy. And then I thought to myself quickly after, because I don't allow myself to stay in these states of like paranoia and extreme and heightened like and frazzled mentality. I don't allow myself, because you can't make good decisions and you can't think straight under those states. You know what I'm saying? And so we could quickly pull it back. I'm like, okay, first and foremost, I'm not going to act like this stuff has happened in the past, but that don't mean that what I'm hearing, everything that I'm hearing is true. Number one. Number two, even if it is true, what can I do about it? I'm not trying to say that like, oh man, it don't matter, but what can I do about it? What power do I have to change it? And if I don't have any power to change it, then okay, then that means I need to take a step back and reassess how I need to interact or how I need to process this information. I can pray about it. I can, keep my eyes open if I see anything, like do some more research maybe. But I can't put my life on hold and go into a shell of depression because these things are happening around me. This stuff been happening for ages. You see what I'm saying? But what I can do is have control over my life to make sure that I don't participate in such things, that I don't close my eyes to such things. You know what I'm saying? That I teach my family about certain things. You know what I'm saying? But I can't stop living. I can't give myself fully to this stuff where I just become a shell of myself and I'm just sad and depressed because of all the evils in the world. Listen, that's not the answer. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of all that, like I said, going back to point 2 real quick, and then we're gonna wrap this thing up. Like the people that do these things don't come out unscathed. You have to understand there is a huge mental load on a person's mind and soul when they participate in such things. You don't think they just get away scot-free, they go and rape some kid and be like, oh man, it's all good. Like, no, you're gonna have to deal with that. You gotta sleep at night with that stuff. It's your illusion that they just walk around doing this stuff like, oh, they wipe their mouth and everything's all great. Like, no, like that, they have a conscience too. They don't have no conscience, man. Please, everybody got one. They know what's right and what's wrong. You know what I'm saying? You got to live with this stuff. That's why drugs are so heavy. That's why they're so involved with all this stuff. And they live their lives living in with these secrets in their soul. And this stuff is torment, torture. You know what I'm saying? You look at P. Diddy and you see how high he be looking all the time, how he be looking drunk all the time, and he just look all like space. Man, listen, you carrying around that kind of baggage, that stuff is weighty. You know what I mean? You can't have no peace in your life like that. They're looking for peace. And they're trying to find relief from their pressure in their lives through all these scrupulous and immoral things. You see what I'm saying? But that stuff take a toll on your mind and on your spirit. You better believe it. You know what I'm saying? It's no different than if you go and you cheat on your spouse or you go and do some diabolical stuff. You don't just walk away from that and be like, oh man, it's all good. Like, you carry that. If you kill somebody, man, it's killers, man. They deal with that serial killer. He had no conscience, man. Please, he feel that stuff. You better believe it. Let him sit in that cell for a little while, and then all of a sudden he start being still and have to remember all the faces he done seen. Just go do some research. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, human beings function a certain way. We can all pretend like we don't, and we're immune to these things, and we're different, man. Please, everybody has a conscience. People carry this stuff. You know what I'm saying? They try to mask it and hide it and pretend like it don't matter, but it does. And if they slow down enough and just sit quiet enough, then you'll see it, and they'll see it. Then you'll start seeing the cracks. You know what I'm saying? And so, don't think that these people are supernatural and they have all power, and they, like I said, they're on Mount Olympus looking down upon us, mere mortals, and making decisions and changing the world, and they know what's going to happen tomorrow, and they control this and that and da. They have some control. I'm not saying that they don't, but don't think that they are above other human beings. They are human beings too. They can't escape death. They can't escape shame and guilt. Those things are inherently human. You see what I'm saying? And so don't concern yourself. Don't get so deep and so involved with all of this mess to where you give your peace to these things, that you rob yourself and you rob your family of your good energy, of your joy, of your happiness, of your good spirit. You know what I'm saying? Like it affects your productivity in the world, your ability to try to get stuff done. You're afraid to accomplish things because you scared that the elites gonna see you and they're gonna try to come and like take you into their secret society and ravage your family and have people killed. And like you thinking all that stuff, and it's affecting your thought process. Listen, these people are not gods. Live your life. You know what I'm saying? It's cool to listen to stuff, make sure, always try to verify, ask yourself the question, is this real? How can I verify this information before I just believe it? It's okay to say, that sounds like it could be true. That's cool. But before you take it in heart as fact, always ask the question, how can I validate if this is real or not? Number 2, make sure you remember these people are just human beings. They're not gods. They will die. They have fears. They are weak. They have weaknesses. They are like the Wizard of Oz. They're the person behind the curtain. Don't think that he's a great and powerful wizard when it's just a cat back there with a robe and some boxes on. You know what I'm saying? The third thing is like, don't let them have your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, after you've put your phone down, take a deep breath and live your life. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to die one day too. And you don't want to waste your days on things that you have no control over, nor that have control over the decisions that you make on a day-to-day basis, right? And so that's the episode for today. Thank you for tuning in. And we want to leave you like we always do, asking that you stay safe, stay blessed, please stay human. We out.